Hello. Happy morning/evening. For us, for me, it's Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Okay. Let's give people a little time to trickle in here, and then we'll start her off. Okay, let's get started. Let me go to town hall questions. Okay, can I bridge my Genesis Heroes to DFK so I save on gas? Can I bridge my heroes to DFK so I can save on gas? I'll make an announcement and I'll address specific questions. I believe that's the case, but I have to double check. So, good question. I need to double check. Will I be able to trade and sell NFTs across chain? On the DFK side, you can't because DFK chain does not have a marketplace yet, but they will have a marketplace at which time you could sell heroes. But keep in mind, as of right now, if you can't bridge Genesis Heroes, which I have to respond, I'll make an announcement about that probably later today, then there's no way to find additional heroes because the heroes questing are like shadow heroes of DFK heroes, and they're temporary in nature. So there's no hero assets to sell. You could potentially find other NFT assets like skill books, and my current understanding is you probably just have to bridge those to ARB to sell them. You could consume them, but from a marketplace perspective, there's no way to sell them without a third party. So, because there's no marketplace. Are DFK heroes Rift heroes? Yes, they're not Genesis heroes, so we can call them Rift heroes. How do you plan to seed the chain if there are Rift heroes and only temporary? So again, we could bridge heroes in, probably. I just have to confirm that. So if that's one avenue. And then another avenue is if it's, again, there's a lot we still have to explore with the best way to handle DFK. But it's possible that we just make it temporary, let's say 1 to 2 seasons, but that we let them pay a fee, or that we just say, hey, if you go buy a summoning shard on ARB and bridge it, you can keep that hero you've been using, or you can seed the DFK chain by going to ARB, buying a hero, and bridging it. So that's how you would seed DFK, but we're eliminating that friction up front by saying you don't have to do any bridging, you can just go in and play. You still have to pay the seasonal entry fee, which is what funds the game, but you don't have to buy a hero to start. Like we've said, that'll probably be temporary in nature, but that's the idea. Probably have been asked this before, but if there is any future plans to release some sort of roadmap instruction, how you guys will try to make it so it doesn't get stale. You guys have done pretty well so far, but it would be good if you had some kind of order to the changes that were happening and would give people something to look forward to and what to expect. We try and do regular town halls where we talk about the next season. I don't think we have the ability to forecast 3 to 6 months in advance. One of the things I hated about this space as a consumer was people put out roadmaps and then never hit them. And we've always tried to avoid that. So we try and be realistic with our goals, and we try and communicate those goals to the community. So I don't think we're, in the short term, going to have a 3 to 6 month roadmap. The other thing is stuff just is super dynamic and changes. And so a roadmap just feels like we're setting people up to get mad because we're probably going to change the roadmap or not hit the roadmap or completely alter the roadmap. Also, I would like to point out that I think you've been doing well besides the change last season in the middle that you guys admitted to, and thank you for that, Alan Burning. And why keep us in the dark to speculate over what is happening with DFK chain? I'm asking a reason. The reason we've been in the dark, or you've been in the dark, is because I'm still trying to figure it out. I want to make sure we can execute it. So, like, I don't have all the details to tell you because I don't know all the details yet. We have spent this last month from a technology perspective, making sure people can play on DFK, and getting the demo mode, essentially trying to hit that S4 roadmap we had talked about. But I haven't been keeping in the dark because I wanted to. I've been keeping you in the dark because I still don't have all the information I want to be able to get really verbose, really specific about the process. There's still a lot of testing that has to happen. I imagine season 4 will be probably a little more delayed than like the previous seasons because we have to make sure this DFK integration is really buttoned up. That's not to, I don't think it'll be like 2 weeks from today, but I'm just saying it will need I think a little more time to make sure we're really on track. What stats will the DFK heroes get? In Dragon's Crossing, we have 3 hero types, but DFK there are 10 types. Are the DFK heroes will be able to find more NFTs and books and shards? So the answer is the stats they'll get are random, just like any other Rift hero. We didn't map heroes to DFK heroes, so it's like it doesn't matter what hero you have in DFK, you just get a random Rift hero. They can find other books. They cannot find shards, which is unique to Genesis heroes, but they function like a Rift hero. In comparison to previous seasons, how much balancing changes to skill classes do you expect coming for season 4? I have addressed this before, but I think it's an important question to keep addressing. Previously, other seasons were much more gameplay focused. This season was focused on how can we bring in more people, which is why we're partnering with DFK for season 4. We need more people to remain viable as a project. So season 4's resources went mostly to the DFK collaboration, a demo mode which had nothing to do with DFK but is addressing the friction of people wanting to come in without knowing what it is and giving them a taste, so demo mode. And then we have spent some resources as well creating a logger, so in game you get to see what is happening in a log. So to answer your question, this season will be much lighter. There will be some tweaks, like there's going to be an Abaddon level change. And there will be some other smaller tweaks, but this will be the smallest gameplay-related tweak we've had among the other seasons we've had. Okay, just waiting for someone to type. Give me 1 second here. Okay, so I'm going to go to, with that many DFK hero, the skill book value will drop significantly and fast. I don't think that's true. There's also more heroes, so more people to consume the skill books. We can always speculate, but I don't think that's the case. Let me go back to town hall questions real quick. What can you share in terms of how this collaboration will fundamentally work? I know you just said you can't explain everything now, but I'm not sure how one would glean, I think it's glean, much of anything from the DCX and DFK announcement. So the specifics are, there is a DFK chain presence. If you are on DFK chain with a DFK hero, you will log in and be given a shadow, quote unquote, hero that is related to the DFK hero you hold in your wallet. And you use that shadow hero to play the game as a Rift hero. So I'm happy to get more specific on that, Bob. How else? Again, I need to address the bridge question, which is fine. I'll address bridging. But how else? What more specifics would you like, or how can I make that more clear? Are we doing a version of Wife Swap where JB will join DFK's team for 2 weeks and we get Hubert? I can be the cameraman if necessary to follow JB around. I'll already do it virtually. Don't know if IRL would be harder. We're not doing any wife swapping, but I think that's an excellent idea. Jackson always has excellent ideas. Okay, I'm waiting for people to type, so we're going to go back to town hall chat. In game, if you own a DFK hero, do you see that hero, or do you see a DCX Rift hero? You see a DCX Rift hero. What about with selling, swapping DFK heroes affect these shadow heroes? The shadow heroes aren't owned by the wallet. That's an important distinction. They're owned by the project. So we are loaning, we're giving you a loaner, essentially, that's temporary in nature. So they can't sell that hero. They can, as I've mentioned, potentially buy a shard from the community, bridge it, and then make that hero permanent. Or they can bridge their hero. Well, no, I don't think they can bridge their shadow hero, but they can bridge a shard and consume a shard on DFK chain, and that will allow them to make that shadow hero permanent. Okay, let me go back to town hall questions. How will a wallet mint a ghost hero through a support ticket or UI? It'll be through UI. When does the wallet pay the registration fee before or after minting the Rift hero? It will be just like normal. So just like on the ARP chain, you'd have to have a hero first, which you can mint through the UI with a DFK hero, and you pay the registration fee if you want to enter the season with that hero. Is there anything planned to drive hype for Season 4 beyond allowing DFK players to play? So we have, Katrina, can you paste in the promotion that you ran for Season 3? We're constantly trying to, run incentives and get people excited. So Katrina's going to paste in a graphic to show you what we did for Season 3. Some of you are probably familiar with it. But we'll probably do something similar for Season 4 because, that's important. And I think Katrina's really led that kind of stuff. And he's done a really good job. So that's the Season 3 Mega Raffle. And we'll do something similar for Season 4. We'll try and get people excited. If someone adds skills to a shadow hero, then later consumes the shard to make it a real hero, does the new hero have the skills consumed by the shadow hero? Yes. Will Paladin and DFK become a specific DSCX hero, or is it random? It's random. Hold on, I'm just going back and forth because some people are typing in chat. Give me one sec. Okay. What about selling, swapping DFK heroes? The town hall is being recorded. You can't sell or swap them. Or no, sorry. You can sell or swap a DFK hero. And I need to get clarification on this from D, but I believe if you held a DFK hero, which is not that expensive to do, as we know, the floor price, I've been told it's around $4. So, if you have a DFK hero and then you sell it, you probably retain the shadow hero. We don't really care that much if someone wanted to buy a hero to get a shadow hero and then sell the hero, that's fine. Yeah, iOS code is saying it's 50 cents. The point is really to draw attention to our collaboration. Hey, these worlds kind of mesh, and in the future, depending on how the partnership goes, we can even integrate further, right? Right now, we'll be accessible through their game. We'll allow their heroes to participate in our season, right, in some way. but we could go much deeper, and that's the point. That's the point. Is it draws attention from both. It's like inter-community play, and we could go much deeper if there's interest there. As I've mentioned, the hero is random, and the rarity does not come into effect. Are the shards they need going to be a standardized price supplied by DCX? No, they have to buy it from the community. It's going to be an OpenSea purchase. Why would that not be fair to DFK people? I don't follow that logic, but it would have to be an OpenSea purchase from the community. Will Mythic Death Knights take all the top leaderboard spots? No, because the stats are random. It's just like you're just getting a free Mirror Rift hero temporarily. It doesn't make it more powerful. That's the whole point, right? We don't want someone to pay for a better hero, right? Some people will get them cheaper. Seems it would discourage some people from playing. Again, I'm not following that, but maybe I'm misunderstanding. So if you could clarify what you mean, why it would discourage people, how they would get them cheaper. But so please clarify there. I'll come back to that chat. Going back to Town Hall, I've been using the Uniswap after some initial problems with the CU fraud department during the mint. There are no issues now. Oh, wait. Hold on. That's the wrong one. Give me 1 second. Where's Town? Oh, Town Hall. There we go. My bad. Wouldn't it make more sense to match heroes roughly to their counterpart? Maybe it's extra work we didn't want to do. What can you share about DFK hero art contributing to the art of the ghost hero? For now, there will be none. Again, keep in mind, there's a bajillion things we have to get right. Of course, to me, that is not the value add. Okay? I could be wrong, right? I'm not omniscient. But to me, making stats, making the class related is not the value add. Could we change it in the future to do that? Yeah, of course. Right now we're trying to get a minimal viable product to make this partnership successful. To me, those were not the priorities. Think of me as like a product manager. I have to prioritize and make sure we can execute in a timeline with the limited resources we have. So I understand that if I had unlimited time and resources, I would do all the things you said. But to me, as I evaluated this with my analytical powers, whatever those are, good or bad, I decided, while that is an interesting thing, that is not our most important focus. I want our focus to be other things like making sure this works, making sure people from DFK can play. And it's just one more thing I don't want to test and then get wrong and have to debug and then have to fix and then people get salty. And so I'm just trying to get a minimal viable product for the DFK partnership to work. And if it works and people kind of like it, we can improve it by doing things like making it more immersive by making matches through heroes and stuff like that. Like I've said, I want to recognize that is cool. It's one more thing I don't want to have to debug because we didn't do it right. And so I'm trying to just get to what's the quickest way I can get to a partnership that may bring in more people. We need more people. These are features that are cool but aren't essential. I'm sticking to essential features whenever I can. Is Bloater's analytical power a 1d12 or 2d6? It's more like a 1d4 most days. Okay, let's go back to the questions here. Town Hall. To summon a rift, we pay $10 plus the shard. That can't be much more to code sounds like an if statement. I don't understand that question, Citron. Shards seem like a good giveaway item for DFK chain participants. Yeah, potentially. DFK Shadow Heroes are made permanent only with a shard. That's correct. Season 4 is just the beginning of the end. I love DFK partnerships. Several who were not playing are now saying they will play now. That's awesome. Butter Punch, what about DFK Shadow Hero card art? Are DFK heroes going to keep DFK art? No. Is Katrina turning up the music to tell you you're over time? I can't hear the music. It wasn't a question, okay? Because I'm starting to tear up. Okay, we got some really high quality chat in the Town Hall questions. Okay. Like that scene from The Office where he's like, Michael's with the lawyers and they're like, can you read that back? And then it's like, Michael, what are you doing? Jan, I don't know. That's what she said. I kind of feel like I'm reading back them. Okay. I'm waiting for some questions. I got good feedback saying their DFK players are excited to play. That's awesome. If you type anything in here, I think Bloater will read it out loud like Ron Burgundy. That is correct. That is definitely correct. Okay, so does anyone have any other burning questions? Again, I think I've shared. The biggest question I still have to clarify is how bridging will work. He doesn't think it should be too complicated to match DSK classes with DCX classes. I understand that. I tried to address that just now. My point isn't that it's so complex it can't be done. My point is we have a bajillion things to do already. It's one more thing I don't want to worry about getting right and having to test and then debugging. And so we're not going to do it for the pilot, but we could change it in the future. As I've said before, development, and again, for someone, and I'm not trying to be patronizing, but I had never run a project before this project. And one thing that's really crazy is, and this is obviously hyperbole, but farting takes 2 weeks in dev time. So everything has a cost, and it's just really, really hard to get everything done that you want to get done. And so while some things appear simple, you're like, oh, it's an if statement, which I understand why you would think that. It's a reasonable thought. It's never that simple, and it always adds complexity that we then have to address afterwards. Again, will we address it later? For sure. Like, that's something... I feel like it would not be leaving a good first impression to not match heroes and use the DFK art. We've got different priorities, and we see it differently, but I respect the opinion. Okay, wait, there was another question here. Any new features coming in Season 4? As I mentioned earlier, and this is being recorded, thank you, Katrino, there is a demo mode coming. Demo mode meaning for Season 4, if you have a friend who's on ARB or DFK chain, and they're like, I don't know if I want to play this, can I just play a couple days? We have a mode for you to do that now. You don't need a hero, like you don't need to buy anything, and you don't need to pay the registration. So someone could come in and play temporarily. This has nothing to do with DFK. Someone could come in and play temporarily. They can't find any NFTs. They can't earn money, but they can feel the game. They can get a vibe for like what the game is like, and that just it allows people to get a taste, right? And then again, my pushback on demo mode is it doesn't let them see the real value, which to me is the intensity of paying for a season and then being able to compete for bigger dollars. Like, they don't get that feel, but at least they see the project. They see that, hey, they have a finished game here. It is an RPG. I may or may not like this, at least they can see that. Again, it's not ideal, but I think it does help. Exactly. We'll link the demo to the main website. We'll publish the demo link so anyone who wants to can come play, which I think is cool. Another feature that we're working on is an in-game logger. So when you click attack and you deal damage, we want to be able to log that. I'm not sure if that'll hit right in Season 4, but it's something we're definitely working on that could appear in Season 4. Abaddon to level 30. Yeah, that would probably be bad. But yes, we are doing some things. We're just more focused on the expanding our horizons versus gameplay. Seems a bit exploitive to preview bunch shadow heroes and lock in the best ones with stats registering. Okay, it seems a bit exploitive to preview bunch shadow heroes and lock in the best one with stats registering. I don't think that's very exploitive. Remember what our priority is, okay? I feel like we lose sight of this. We don't really care if DFK people are bringing in a ton of heroes and registering them. Like, that's really, really good for everyone in the project. All we need is more people. So you get one shadow hero per one DFK hero. And if people are bringing in all these heroes, that's really good for the project. It does devalue Potato with one with brick stats. I'm not sure I totally follow that comment. I think what you're saying is there's so many shadow heroes coming in, and that could devalue permanent heroes, but again, they can't see. Oh no, they could see their shadow heroes before registering. It's per hero, but keep in mind, if they're paying for the shard and registering for the season, it is definitely a net positive to you as the community and to the project as a whole. Again, I'm going to say that again. Let's say you had a guy with 100 DFK heroes, and he creates 100 shadow heroes, but only uses 5 of them. Okay? Because they're the 5 with the best stats. Then he buys 5 shards and registers 5 times. And I'm saying, even though he gamed his DFK heroes, to me, that is way better than the alternative, which is he doesn't do anything with the project. So I understand what you're saying. You're like, well, it kind of hurts crappy Rift heroes. And I'm like, yeah, maybe, but they're also buying shards from you, and they're putting money into the pool in a game you're probably way better at, and you're probably going to benefit from both of those things. So, of course, there's no perfect system. They have to do the same. They have to mint the hero too, right? Like, it's the same system. It's just they have less risk, but they have to pay to keep the hero, and they can't. There's no way for them to get Genesis heroes. Is getting a shadow hero directly bound with registration and paying $20? No, it's not. That's right. Because that would eliminate the entire point of what I'm trying to do, which is I want to eliminate a bunch of friction for people to come in and play in the project. Because people can do what you're saying already. They can just come in and buy a hero and play it already. So we're going one step further and saying, hey, for DFK, temporarily, they can come in and play without that additional friction. That's the whole point of the initiative, is it's trying to get additional people in here with a promotion. So I hear all the time, Wise Blow, we're not doing anything, there's not enough people. This is how we try and get people in. Of course, expectedly, people have issues with whatever we've decided, but the point is, I'm addressing or trying to address with my 1d4 analytical skills, which is, how can we get more people in? Is it a perfect system? No. Is it a system that could help us? Yes, definitely. Will season entry fee be the same for season 4? I've talked about this before, but essentially we could lower the seasonal fee. It just makes our runway even shorter. The project has to make money to pay people, to pay developers. So you can lower that, but we're just not getting enough income to make the project viable long term. So it's a tough one. There you go. Our Mac PDX. You guys control the shard prices. That's 100% true. We need more player base to lower the fee. I think what you're saying is we need to lower the fee to get more players. Is that what you're saying? No, they don't have to buy a shard. I'm going to say it one more time. They can come in with a DFK hero and play without having to buy a hero. They still have to register for the season. That hero is temporary in nature. We'll call it a shadow hero. Then if they want to keep that shadow hero, they have to go to Arbitrum and buy a shard and consume it to keep the hero, or they can just go buy a hero. If we had 10K players, the registration fee could be $10 instead of $20. Oh, I see what you're saying. And the answer is yes. If we scaled way higher, we could lower the fee. But right now, we just don't have any scale, so the fee's definitely going to stay 20. I know, 10K players would be pretty aspirational. And it's not 10K players, it's 10K registrations, right? Which is much different than 10K players. I bet we could hit 10K registrations with 3,000 or 4,000 players, probably less. Grady's registering like 40 heroes, so he's carrying a lot of the weight. We just need to find like 100 Grady's, we're set. They have to use a shard. let me think about that. Hold on. So they buy a shard, and then they go. Yeah, they have to pay a summoning fee just like everyone else. It's okay, Grady. We still appreciate you, buddy. Okay. We live in min-maxing meta. Every little bit counts. I agree. Some people will do that, yes. Last season, my worst hero by far got the best ranking. Boom, roasted, skill-based game. That sum will probably be 90%. Yeah, you just need a hero and get lucky. The stats don't outweigh that much for sure. Boom, roasted. There is no easy way, only the right way. I'm liking WoW's philosophy here. I'm digging it. There is a ton of skill. Is there a ton of RNG? Yes, of course. But I'm just saying, it's the best decisions over. Someone was, I don't remember who was saying this, but someone was like, over 350 quests or whatever it is, 250 quests, a lot of the RNG gets washed out with the community, and it's like, did you make better decisions, right? So, of course, they're going to min-max their stats, but it's a net gain to the project if people are coming in and playing and buying summoning shards and buying registrations. We could lower the fee for Season 4 to increase, DFK user adoption. But I'll think about that. I'm not totally against it for one season, but at the same time, as I've mentioned, we're just shortening our own runway by doing that. Toadfather, I have no idea. You'd have to, again, the community holds those, so I don't know. Okay. I'm waiting for any other questions here. This is really just a Q&A. That's correct. I've already said most of what I needed to say. Through the Q&A, I feel like we've talked most of what we need. We do have to do the raffle at the end. Thank you for reminding me. But this is really just a Q&A about mostly the DFK and Season 4 changes. Again, we can go anywhere you guys want. You guys are driving this. If you have other questions, we can address those. Why do I die so much? We can do a deeper dive on that, Doug. What lessons were learned from the tile change to not have such issues going forward? A lot of people felt burned by the change. So the tile change is a cluster F, no doubt about it. And we're generally aligned on the philosophy that we won't make changes that will affect the game. The disconnect on the tile change was, again, limited analytical prowess. I just didn't anticipate how that would affect the community. That was just a total miss. We'll just be very choosy about what changes we choose to push. Some things we do have to fix mid-season. That's the thing. There are times we have to fix stuff, especially if it's broken or bugged. So one thing we thought about fixing was, should items have rarity in the new zone? But then we actually thought that bug was more of a feature, and we liked that, so we kept it. Plus, we couldn't change it because then it would feel really bad. So, again, we just have to make really, really careful about what we do mid-season. And this was a good lesson for me on just being super, 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 super careful on that. Citron, for Season 4 changes, we will probably nerf 3.1 and 4.1 slightly, so that instead of 50% of the time, it may be a little less. We do want there to be a choice between 3.0, 4.0, and 3.1, 4.1. We're still trying to decide how to do that, but we don't want that to be everyone has to do 3.1 to win. We want there to be more choice. In S2, my ranger never got a bow crossbow until the end, and also an offhand. How can my decisions increase the chance of getting suitable gear for the class? It is just loot drop. You're right. Again, I'm not saying there is no RNG, of course. I'm saying what my impression after running this for 3 seasons, is the people who win are the people who over a really long term make the best choices. Does RNG hurt you sometimes? Yes, RNG hurts you sometimes. Does RNG help you sometimes? Yes. Is Rarity going to be fixed? I have no idea. I have to talk to JB about it. I kind of like it not being there because it helps deter that path. So we may keep it. I don't know yet. But it will be very clear. We will post notes on that. Would it help to be transparent about what changes you're planning to do with people? We try and be transparent. Again, we will do everything I can to increase transparency. Any plans for an Intergrove stream about this? A lot of DK players feel connection to the punches through that podcast might help. Ooh, that's a good question. We're pretty busy. If you lobby Sandwich Punch and Baby Punch in Gen Chat, I bet you could get that ball rolling. Bob, nothing. I've been trying to find if this is the first time a game has been added to another game subnet with game cross integration in Web3 history. Do you think this is true? Let's just say yes. I like to assume yes. Rather than a riskier path, you could make the paths drop a certain piece of loot that benefit a specific build. It's hard to balance bonus XP. I don't totally agree with that. I think there is a way to balance bonus XP. We just have to tweak it a little bit. But I think bonus XP works. Something this is a must. There must be a confirm button for every travel tile. This is a must change bloater also when fleeing. So let me tell you a little story, Crypto Grady. When we launched day one, let's take a little trip back in time here. When we launched day one, as you guys know, on the camp tile, there is a confirmation button, okay? So when you click camp, there's a button that comes, there's a message that appears that says, if you camp, you will lose all your quests. Do you want to continue? And on the day one of launch, people were raging in Gen Chat that there should be multiple confirmations. So some of it, of course, is we need to improve the UX so people don't make mistakes and then feel slighted. But keep in mind, even with confirmations, people still complain it's not, like it hurts their feelings that there's not more confirmations. So do I think the project will benefit from confirmations for Flea and for travel tiles, or maybe any tile? Yes, we can put that on the Season 5 roadmap. But keep in mind, even when we have confirmations, and thank you, Bob. Bless you, Bob. All hail, Bob. It's a balance. Grady says he demands it, and then someone else says, it hurts my experience. I have to keep clicking this button. Why do I have to keep clicking this button? Praise Bob. So it's very tricky, okay? Very tricky. Plus, I know you guys, the way you play, you're spam clicking. You're like, and then you rage when you misclick. Well, don't spam click. I do like the idea of a map as well. I think the map would be pretty dope. Okay, I'm sorry. I got sidetracked. We're going back here. If you knew which mobs drop certain items, you can flee mobs that don't drop the items you want and only fight the mobs you do want. That's true. For sure. I would like to know that. I know which mobs drop what. Every enemy has a loot table. That's true. Podcast is no-brainer. The punch cast. Too much clicking with confirm button. Thank you, Maharaj. Punch Bowl. Oh, I like that too. From Loot Table Database? We do not have that. Yeah, that's true also. Will there be less clicking at the blacksmith? Yeah, the UI on the blacksmith is a disaster. We do need to fix that. Anyone can compile. That's true. Too many confirmations can hurt UI. Thank you. A map would be dope. I agree with that. I don't want to click on that link, but someone can tell me. Axie Origins map that opens up progressively. Yeah, like an old school Super Nintendo map. I think that would be sick. Yeah, it's tough. We're a fledgling project. It's really hard to keep desktop and mobile 100% optimized. I'm a boomer. I'm 37, so I refuse to use my phone for stuff like this. I would only play on desktop. So it's just really hard to keep it mobile optimized constantly. So obviously it is playable, but I know it's hard. We'll think about it. Okay, we'll think about it. I know, boomers, right? Okay, I'm just reading through other questions. We've gotten pretty good engagement here. Any word on a new dev hire? No, there's no word on a new dev hire because I'm pretty happy with where we are from a dev resource perspective. I feel like we can get the things we need to get done. So it's not like, to me, I'm trying to maintain, like, our burn rate, right? I don't think we need a new developer. I don't think we're behind on features we want to deliver per se. But I understand that question. Hello, Sandwich Punch. I've been told to start lobbying you for an inner grove. You still have a lot of sway with the DFK community. Very true. Get on that, Sandwich Punch. Sandwich Punch is actually here taking notes. He will have all of my notes done before I'm finished talking. That's how fast he is. Okay, Grady, I have heard you. You are heard. I understand you really need those things. We will take that into consideration. Loader Punch, a lot of people complain about a lack of support during S3. Is this going to improve, and what was the reason all support tickets from S3 resolved? Let me look at the support tickets for S3. We're pretty good. There was a little delay. Part of that was I was on a cruise for 7 days, which I told everyone I would be. Part of it was we were busy after I got back because we were behind, so it was hard to get back to bug tickets. But that said, I'm looking at bug tickets right now. I think we only have like 2 or 3 real bug tickets outstanding. No, we have 2 real bug tickets outstanding right now. And I'll probably get to those today. So we're pretty caught up. It's just hard, right? There's a million things we have to get done. Limited hands to do it. We do want to get to bug tickets. Katrina's helpful, like he reminds me and then I'll get to him. So I would say we should expect higher levels of service for S4, but as always, people have to be patient. One thing people always forget is we don't work Saturday and Sunday, but for some reason, people think I should be available 24/7. So we have families, I have a real job, outside of this. So, Saturdays and Sundays are hard too. So if you open a ticket on Friday at 4, DCX is a real job. Yeah, I misspoke. But if you open a ticket at Friday at 4, you're probably not going to see anything till at least Monday. But you're thinking, I'm being neglected. Why aren't they seeing my ticket? So yeah, but I agree. We should increase the level of service for season 4. Abandon family and job and sit here and wait for tickets. Yes, sir. Okay, I'm just reading here. Yeah, it's tough. When do I win the Unique Warrior Hero? I don't know if you mean you've already won one and you need it, or we still haven't done the drawing. With that said, is there plans? Oh, I like that. A cross AMA. That's a really good idea. We should do that. That's like a slam dunk. I don't know why we haven't already done that. We'll probably do a cross. I think Bolin would do it. He's been super reasonable the whole time. So once we get, I need a firm date for when we will launch season 4 first. I need to understand the bridging mechanics, and then I need to test everything. So we should expect a date this week, and then I can plan a cross project AMA with both projects. Okay, do we want to do the raffle? And I'll answer some additional questions. Katrina, do we want to do the raffle? All right, Katrina has approved the raffling process.